there's some guy saying that the Bochum that didn't see the Rebbe should all feel very sad. What are they accomplishing with that? To feel bad? So what? So to get down and depressed and feel bad? Who gains something from it? Only the Yetzer Hara gets you depressed and down. If I would have been and I could have wrote a letter to the Rebbe and I get a shake from the Rebbe and a cup of wine from the Rebbe, then I would be in it. So you could live that way. But that doesn't get you anywhere. If you live that you have a special connection, stronger than before, that gives you strength to do and accomplish. Which way would you like?
Welcome to Homesick for Lubavitch, a podcast where we explore Lubavitch identity in the year 2025. My name is Ben Yaftzin, and I will be your host. Let's begin. Alrighty, we are here in Sacramento, California. The night is young on the West Coast, but where I'm from, the East Coast, it's quite late. But we're going to make it work. I'm here with Rabbi Mendel Cohen of Sacramento. Shliach here for how many years?
31 years, can I know.
31 years, can I know. Amen. And I'm very excited to talk with you and have a conversation. Looking forward to it. Thank you for making the time.
Sure.
And for all those listening and like the podcast, please like and subscribe on the platforms. It helps us out. And if you really like the podcast, visit hflpodcast.com/donate to help and support the podcast. All right, Rabbi Cohen, you asked me where this conversation is going, and I told you the honest truth. I have no idea, but that's exactly how we like it.
Well, let's just flow.
Yes, let's flow, exactly. So let's start from the beginning. Where does the story of Rabbi Mendel Cohen begin?
You're talking the shlichus part.
No. So I shouldn't say Rabbi. Where does the story of Mendel Cohen begin?
I grew up in Montreal, and I was there till 15. Then I went to Olatera for 3 years. Great time. Then I went on shlichus to Los Angeles. Then
So 1 second, I'm going to cut you off. What was Montreal like?
It was a very chassidish city. It was a little heavy because I guess people were after the Holocaust, but it was a very serious town. And it was hard growing up, but I had I had great teachers and I had a great time.
It's always snowing also.
It's snowing, that also affects the mood. But now when I go visit, it's a different city. There's a lot of young people. It's hustle. It's a different city. But when I grew up, it was very insular, anyways.
All right, so but describe a little bit the older chassidim there, the mashpiyim.
So my father, Olav Hasholem, was very close with Rebbe Mochkin, who was a grandfather of my wife. So I remember as a kid, whenever I was looking for my father, I would go down to the basement where the Peretz lived, right next to the yeshiva. Now they build a beautiful yeshiva, and they put two houses together. And we would go there, and I would see my father for praying with Rebbe Peretz. I have very fond memories of Rebbe Peretz. And older chassidim would come visit. Rabbi Nissen Nemenov would come visit. I would see him say over the whole Tanya before davening.
The whole Tanya?
The Tanya, I think he said over the whole Tanya, either half by Shachas or half by Mincha, but we saw him in a place just saying over the whole Tanya.
The whole Tanya every day?
Yeah. And listen, he was a special guy. He would also farbring. So there was a lot of nice farbringens.
Because I've been hearing a lot about the group of the Polishers that ran the town there. Although Peretz was from the Russians.
Russia, yeah.
But the Polish mafia over there, it seemed like they had a different gang. Rabbi Greenglass.
I learned by Rabbi Greenglass, who was he was a Kabbalist, and he was a great teacher. And he was interesting. We loved Rabbi Greenglass. Rabbi Itchemer Gerari was our mashpia. And it was a great time. But it was a small group, so going to New York was like going to the big world. But Montreal had a lot to contribute.
So you had a chip on your shoulder when you'd come to New York? You're the Montrealers?
No, not really. I'm just saying it was different. It was.
Right.
I also had Rabbi Eisenbach was a great teacher. Rabbi Nizhnik was a terrific teacher. He was the chief rabbi of Canada. He was a student of Rabbi Chonon Wasserman, and we would always fight about the Rebbe's shlichus. So he was a great guy. I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot in Montreal. Montreal was a great start.
In Montreal, did you feel like you were on the inside or on the outside?
Inside of what? Of
Lubavitch.
Lubavitch?
Yeah.
I always felt comfortable. I always felt very, very comfortable. My grandfather's Rabbi Masmid, from my mother's side.
Your grandfather or your great-grandfather?
My great-grandfather.
So you felt like you had a place?
I felt, even though I realized Gezer means not much, but you felt a little Gezer, you know. Chassid was a great-grandfather.
Right. No, but I'm asking because you said before that when you came to New York, you felt Montreal was small and New York's the big leagues.
Yeah.
Today, looking back at Montreal, it feels like there's so many chassidim. There's a whole world.
It was great. It was great.
It had its own world to it.
It was very, very special. I had time with Rabbi Hirschsprung, who would talk to us, and it was a very Rabbi Hendel, Rabbi Isaac Shvei. I remember as a young kid, 14 years old, Rabbi Isaac Shvei explained me a sugya. It was amazing. It was very, very special.
Mm-hmm. What was it like coming to New York? What changed coming to New York?
Coming to New York was being by the Rebbe, hearing the Rebbe verbringen every Shabbos, and you could imagine how exciting it was.
Right, but outside of that, what was because that was on Shabbos. Wait, you came in the years with the Rebbe verbringen every Shabbos already?
Yes, every Shabbos. I was there, Mem Daled, Mem Hey, Mem Vov.
And the Rebbe verbringen every Shabbos those years already?
Yeah, almost every Shabbos.
And what about the rest of the week? Was there a rest of the week? Does that stand out in your memory at all, the yeshiva in New York, or was it just...
The yeshiva in New York, we learned by Rabbi Galitsky, by Rabbi Yisrael Friedman, and it was a tremendous chassidische avir, and it was great. I also spent 2 summers in Morristown, and I learned Chavrusa with Rabbi Mendel Cohen from New Jersey.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And
you're the same age as him?
Same age, maybe a year younger, but we learned together. We had a great time.
So
there were great Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi Wolshansky, Rabbi Shalom Spalter, great Rabbi Melech Tzvibel. It was great. It was unbelievable.
So it was years of learning for you?
It was years of learning. Actually, in the middle, I went to Eretz Yisrael for 3 months to Teras Emes. And we had a very special teacher, Rabbi Yakubovich. He's terrific. What I loved about him, he gave a shiur for 45 minutes. He said Bochrim could not hold their head longer. But he prepared to give this shiur 6 hours. He told us. And we would sit a whole afternoon and try to decipher what he told us and to learn the Svarim. He spoke about the Ktsos and the Rab Chaim. And that was 3 months, but that was tremendous.
How do you compare a shiur like that to Sichet of Hebrein?
How do I compare a shiur? I mean, you can't compare, but...
No, I'm saying you're talking about the deciphering.
There's 2 things. There's learning and hearing Gilei Elikus from the Rebbe.
So explain.
And then there's Derech HaLimud. There's help the Bocher at 16, 17 to learn how to tackle a concept, how to develop it. That's 2 separate things.
Is it takas 2 separate things? What are you getting out of Hebrein if you're not learning?
No, the learning, first of all, the learning helps you to have, the more you learn, the more you're able to understand the Rebbe's Fabring, and the Rebbe spoke Kol HaTeira Kula.
Right.
But so anything you learn sharpens your mind and enables you to receive that.
But were you tackling a sikha the way you were tackling a ksos in Rabbeina's shir? How did it work?
I had the shlichus. I used to go to hear Rabbi El's chazorah, and then we had Rab Nachman Shapiro and all the Torah would help us make chazorah. After Sunday night, a couple of bochrim would give chazorah from the Rebbe's Fabringen. So there was a big koch in the Rebbe's Fabringen. So again, it's two worlds, and one prepares for the other.
So one world is the learning, and the other world is
receiving Gilui Elikus. It's two things that are on two different levels.
Two different levels.
I would try to remember the Rebbe's Sichos. I also worked when I went to 770. When I came back from shlichus, I had the shlichus. To work with Reb Simon Jacobson. We wrote the Teichen Kotze.
Oh, you were part of his team.
I was part of his team. I think your uncle Rabbi Yudah Shem Tov was also part of his team.
He was involved there, yeah.
So I was there.
And Mendy Herson also, I think.
Mendy Herson and your uncle did the English. We did the Hebrew. Myself with Rabbi Yossi Jacobson and Chaim Rappaport.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
And
it was great. It was awesome to sit with Reb Simon after the Fabringen. And the more Reb Simon speaks about this a lot, the more you didn't think about yourself, just to keep yourself a vessel to hear what the Rebbe is saying and not to put in your sense, that's when you remember the Fabringen. The more of the Fabringen, and also the more you prepared. If you go to the mikveh, it was a simple thing, but that helped you have the bittul to be able to be koilet divrei hadav, the holy words of the Rebbe. And those were amazing, just to sit by the Rebbe's Fabringen and to feel so proud of Judaism and feel the world was, you looked at the world differently. It was. I have one line I remember from the Rebbe's Fabringen. There's so much we everything we know, we learned. The Rebbe said a Jew is sitting and he's learning a pasuk Chumash, and he thinks that he's at Zurigestanden, he's old-fashioned, because what's fashion is, as the Rebbe said, Wall Street with the White House, and I'm learning a pasuk Chumash. But he doesn't know that the whole Wall Street with the whole White House was created so that he could learn a pasuk Chumash. The whole Anocha, the Welt, how Chovev Ayid is by the Eibishter. I remember then by the 1991 when the Rebbe spoke about Shach saying there'll be a second Holocaust. And the Rebbe said, Amzu Yotzarti. We would leave the Fabring and go home like floating. And you really see Hashem loves Am Yisrael. And it was a different mindset and a different approach to life. And we received so much.
This year marks 75 years since Yud Shvat and the first Bosi Lgani. If you're looking for an event that is memorable, meaningful, and affordable, let me recommend This World is a Garden, a film and live concert production created by us here at Yuvla Media, inspired by Bosi Lgani, the first mimer, the Rebbe said. If you're a regular here at HFL, you know that Bosi Lgani is something that we think about and talk about a lot. And in this production, we use the power of cinematic filmmaking and a live concert by a string quartet to bring the beauty of Bosi Lgani to your community and your audience in a way that they've never seen, heard, or experienced it before. The production has already been hosted by Chabad houses around the country and has drawn wonderful reviews. Our package comes with everything that you need to put in the production: the film's original arrangements for string quartet, publicity materials, everything besides the string quartet, which we recommend that you hire locally to save on travel costs. To find out more about this production, please visit thisworldisagarden.com. Again, thisworldisagarden.com. And now, back to the show. Those last years, did you sense that there was a difference Like, were you still holding track of what the Rebbe was saying, or did you?
It was much harder because there was a lot of nekudis. It was the farbrengens were shorter, and it was more nekudis points, and he alluded to things he explained at great length in the previous years. So we remembered what he said, but there was a lot more to it. We wrote the Teichen Kotzer, what the Rebbe said, but then Reb Simon Jacobson and Reb David Feldman would take those things and build it into a whole new edifice based on things that Rebbe explained and is explained in Chassidus.
So you felt that you had a grasp on what was going on in those last years.
You could tell that there was a lot of things that weren't clear. I remember in Tovshim Mem Vov, the Rebbe had tremendous the sciatica pain. It was crawling to his house. You heard about that?
No.
It was
What's
the Rebbe. It was during the
stuff?
Svorim, and the Rebbe was going to the oil every day for hours, fasting, davening, and us in El Teire was a tremendous experience. Getting up 6:30 in the morning, saying the old Tillim, fasting till 1, and then dancing a whole night. And it was
Wait. You're talking about after the Notzach?
before the Dan Notzach.
Why are you dancing all night?
Because Simcha will break the Gzera.
For how long is this going on?
This was going on for a long time.
Wait. You woke up to say Tehillim.
They woke up to say Tillim early, not every day, but many days. During the court case, we grew up. We said Tillim, fasting. We were running to court,
And then you were dancing.
and then we're dancing.
And when were you sleeping? Not sleeping.
We're not sleeping much. Maybe middle of the day.
Learning at all?
Learning.
Yeah, there was learning
Also
going
learning.
on.
Yeah.
There was learning going on during all this.
There was learning going on.
And then and there was crawling to his house.
So one of the times that Rebbe came back from the Eyal, were tremendous sciatica pain.
How did you know about this?
And you heard about it from people. We saw that Rebbe came into Davin. The Rebbe was leaning on the benches as he was going to his
Really?
place, barely walking.
Wow.
And the Rebbe came down to the Farbrengen.
What's Farbrengen?
The Farbrengen Shabbos.
Shabbos.
And that was the week of Siyum Harambam. It was Tovshim Mem Vov. And the Rebbe said, Met red na kurze Inyan. And efshe wird sich oplegen bei eine oder zwei von die was herren. And the Rebbe spoke a short sikha. That's how I remember. And then Rabbi Yale made out of it 30, 40 pages of very deep hadron. Because it was based on beautiful Yom that the Rebbe spoke all the years about Mechuyev HaMetzias, and he tied it together. It was a beautiful siyum. So you saw that what the Rebbe is saying, he's saying in Yonim, and that you understood what the Rebbe said, but there was a lot more behind it. It was the icing on the cake. If that answers your question.
Which question?
No, I'm saying if we understood what the Rebbe said.
Right.
We
No,
under-
I'm talking about the later years specifically. The later years, the non aleph, non base.
So this Memvov that I'm talking about was before the Istalkos of the Rebbe. The change in the Farbrengens were before and after the Istalkos. So even in Memhei Memvov, it was short lefierech, but it was more arichas abiyah. But it became even shorter after the Istalkos.
So how do you understand that?
What the reason behind it is?
No, how did you understand it then? What did you make of it? How did you process it?
We didn't think much about it, but just listening to the Farbrengen and trying to understand the best we can. And then you saw every week the sichos being produced by Simon Jacobs and David Feldman. You saw that there was a lot of depth there.
There was no discussion of why this is
Why
happening?
it changed? So some people would say that because that Rebbetzin passed away. People speculated, but there was I don't remember any real discussion.
Mm-hmm.
We were happy what we could get.
You're a happy guy, happy camper.
Happy what we can get. We heard the Rebbe. It was.
There was no. Did you have a sense? Did you have a sense at all of because you seem to be very very upbeat about it, very positive about it. Was there which I accept.
About what?
No, about all the shlichus but was there ever a sense of you're not hearing a mimer, you're not the murmur over the shlichus are a little bit, in the air. Was there a sense of not sad, upset, but like you're grasping for straws, like there's you don't have what to hold on to?
Standing at those Farbrengens, you got something. You did. It's not that you sat there and didn't know what was going on. You definitely got something.
Right.
You could look at half of the glass empty or half of the glass full.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I choose to look at the full glass.
Yeah, you seem to be a pretty glass full guy.
Yeah. It's a good way to live.
It is.
In general.
And so you've been that way all the time.
I have Baruch Hashem, yeah.
All right. So to follow that up, how do you look at the glass half full after, let's say, Chav Zayin Adar? What was that like for you?
I came here on shlichus. It was 3 months before. I came here Chai Ode, 3 months before Gimmel Tammuz. Gimmel Tammuz was very hot. We were sure this was it. We're dancing to the Geula. And it was a harsh, it was very hard. But then we realized, hey, Ashreinu, that we're the Rebbe Shluchim. I'll never forget Rabbi Kunin at the Levaya had the clarity of mind to make a shvua. You heard of that?
I think I did, yes, but say it
He
again.
made a shvua to the Rebbe. Rebbe, shved, as we won't stop with the meistis, we'll go stronger. And, you see clearly after Gimmel Tammuz, everyone said Chabad will stop, and it's stronger. I was there at the Farbrengen in Tovshim Memtes when the Rebbe spoke, the famous Sikha, how the Ruzhene said they won't go to Gan Eden until Mashiach comes, and the Fiddike Rebbe said that it won't happen to me. And the Rebbe said, Kenire, that they found a way to get him into Gan Eden. So the Rebbe said, "Vos is the Eitze?" And the Rebbe says, you make a neder al das rabim she'ein le'aforen. If you make a neder al das rabim, you can't undo the neder unless it's for a mitzvah, the Gemara says. So it's clear that the Rebbe is still on the Pesach of Gan Eden, and the Rebbe is still in control of everything and giving brachas and fighting for Mashiach, and he's with us. And you see it from the fact, anyone, from the nisim that all the shluchim have, it is a clear thing that the Rebbe is with us.
How did you understand that sikha back in the day?
When we heard the sikh at first, some people said the Rebbe didn't make a neder. He said on Eitzah that you should make a neder. But that was when you were at the sikha. But later you realized the Rebbe made it. Machtman. Nicht mehr so machen. Machtman a neder al das Rabbim. And, it's clear, if you look at Lubavitch and the expansion and the young shluchim building buildings for millions of dollars and having nisim out of this world, the Rebbe is marif broches. There's a lot of bochim that come here after, they didn't see the Rebbe. But they have a deeper connection to the Rebbe than us that saw the Rebbe. There's a beautiful explanation of the Rebbe regarding the Eile Mitzrayim and Eile Bovel. The Yidden that came up with Yeshua had Gilui Elikus. They had great nisim. But the Kedusha of Eretz Yisrael evaporated once Nebuchadnezzar conquered. But the Kedusha from Ezra, that was a lower Kedusha, the Yidden built the second Beis HaMikdash Mesiris Nefesh. The Pasuk says with one hand they had a sword to push off the enemy, with another hand an axe to build. Their Mesiris Nefesh gave them the holiness of Eretz Yisrael that was a Kedusha Atzmis that lasts forever. They didn't see Gilui Elikus. There was 5 things missing in the second Beis HaMikdash. But this Kedusha, the Rambam says, stays forever. The same thing was people that saw Gilui Elikus. They had amazing Giluyim, and they had amazing shlichus, and amazing Maimorim, and uplifting experiences. And these bochrim from today that are the Rebbe's bochrim that have Mesiris Nefesh and didn't see the Rebbe, they have a tighter connection. It's a Kedusha Atzmis versus Giluyim that the bochrim have. And you see it. You see today the bochrim are so amazing today.
What does Kedusha Atzmis mean?
There's
connect. What does Atzmis mean?
There's Giluyim.
Right.
Explain the Chassidus. Giluyim is revelations, and then there's the etzem, the essence. So you could have people that have great revelation, great understanding, and then you have chassidim that have a tremendous bittul, and that bittul, they reach much deeper. They reach to the etzem of Elikus Haya. For example, you understand a lot, and then there's Mesiris Nefesh Yidden. They have a greater the connection to the etzem of Hashem than a Jew that sits and learns day and night. So a bocher today that didn't see the Rebbe, if he puts himself into it and learns the shlichus, has a deeper connection. I remember growing up in Montreal, hearing a nice explanation. There's a chassid who's a rov. Thursday night, he learns a deep Inyan Cheshem Mishpat. And he learns a nice Maimer Chassidus. And he feels very good. He sees light. And he davens. And then there's a chassid who's an Ovid. He takes a Maimer, he doesn't understand it, and it doesn't go for him. And he heard of his Maimer from the middle of there, but a couple of lines, he doesn't understand it. And the davening gate and he's working hard. Which chassid would you think is greater? Said the Rebbe, the first chassid. But the second chassid that has the bittul to understand and to do, he reaches higher. So the same is with the bochrim today.
So glass half full.
Yeah.
Glass half full.
Half full. Starker und frischer, the Rebbe used to say, every year after the Stalkers. So the energy of the Rebbe becomes stronger, starker und frischer. What do you gain by saying, oh, I'm all given, it was amazing, we don't have it, you missed this and you missed that. There's some guy saying that the bochrim that didn't see the Rebbe should all feel very sad. What are they accomplishing with that? To feel bad? So what? So to get down and depressed and feel bad? Wer hat von them? Who gains something from it? Only the Yetzer Hara gets you depressed and down. If I would have been and I could have wrote a letter to the Rebbe and I get a shake from the Rebbe and a cup of wine from the Rebbe, then I would be in it. So you could live that way. But that doesn't get you anywhere. If you live that you have a special connection, stronger than before, that gives you strength to do and accomplish. Which way would you like?
Homesick for Lubavitch is brought to you by Yuvla Media, a boutique video production company servicing the Chabad and Jewish community. Since opening 10 years ago, Yuvla Media has pushed the boundaries of artistic and thoughtful storytelling in the community, with an insistence on there always being a memorable story as well as a beautiful and striking visual image that we believe is second to none. Over the years, we have worked with Chabad organizations around the country, as well as large organizations like Boni Olam, Torah Masorah, and Atzalathon, guided by the belief that your story is absolutely worth telling with depth and creativity. If you are looking to tell your story with a video, please reach out to us at hello@yuvlamedia.com. Again, that is hello@yuvlamedia.com. A link can be found in the show notes. And now, back to the podcast. It's certainly very inviting and tempting to go with this route. I suppose my only question is, what's the limit of it? What's the limit? Is it always better and better? Is there? Because here's a problem. The problem that I see, not that I have a problem with what you're saying, but the problem that I see with this positive approach is that it keeps on changing to accommodate the facts on the ground. So, is it right after Gimmel Tammuz? Would you say that 30 years after Gimmel Tammuz is going to be better? 30 is going to be better than it was then, or is it going to How far do we take this? Is it always better? Can we take this all the way to the end? Is it always better? Is it always going to be better? Is there no point where?
I agree with you. You could be very miserable, and there was great times, and it was a likus begili.
No, I don't want to be miserable.
No, I'm saying you could decide to be miserable and feel bad that you weren't zeicher to see the Rebbe. And true, you're living in a world without the Rebbe. It's missing everything. But you can choose to focus that you get to bring the Geula, and you have tremendous keiches greater than that. It doesn't feel as good, and you much rather be in those days. But you have to cherish what you got. You were created in this generation by Hashgacha Pratis, and it says there's the Oitze that has all the neshomas, and our generation, the Bochum are born now, are from the bottom, and they are. It doesn't make any sense. The commitment and the devotion of Bochum today to the Rebbe makes no sense. It's an atzmistic connection that everybody that looks at them says, "Wow." You could say they're both right. They're both right. And to sit and talk and to verbring about the golden times we had with the Rebbe is amazing, and we should learn from that. But to bang ourselves, ashamnu, that we weren't zeicha, oy vey, what are you going to gain?
Fair,
but you have to. It's very important.
How far does that go, though? How far does that go?
I think it's psychologically scarring when you tell someone, "Yeah, you missed the train, and you see nothing." What is that supposed to make one feel? That is he going to do more? Is he going to learn more, or is he going to daven more? Is he going to do more mivtzoyim? Or when you tell him that the Rebbe, that you have a special connection that wasn't before, that's going to give him chayas. So which road are you going to choose?
No, I agree. Certainly more. But the question is, how far can does this road go? How far does this road that you're suggesting go down? Can we talk about in 50 years from now if Mashiach doesn't come?
Well, it'd be better. Listen, it's chakale b'chol yom sheyov.
I understand.
Yeah. We hope he's coming, but who knows?
Right.
Who knows?
So can we talk about, can you account for that too and say in 50 years, 80 years after Gimmel Tammuz, it's still better? Like, how far does this logic go? That's my question.
I'm talking about the now and then. I don't have a crystal ball. What's going to be?
No, I'm not.
Who knows what's going to be?
No, but theoretically, hypothetically, according to this svara that you're saying, does it go all the way? The reason I'm asking is because the idea that a person is put in the world today for right now by the Eibusher right now, the Chura is true no matter when. It could be in 100 years from now. It's always going to be true.
It's always true.
It's always true.
Always true.
But the way it fits into Lubavitch
the truth is,
theology,
there's Yeridus Aderes.
Right.
There's Yeridus Aderes. When the Rebbe Rashab made Timchet Mimim, he said he turned back the clock 50 years. So there is Yeridus Aderes. But
wait, 1 second, the Rebbe Rashab said he turned the clock.
When he made Timchet Mimim, he turned the clock back 50 years.
He reversed it.
Reversed the clock. So there is a concept of Yeridus Aderes. That's a fact. There's Yeridus Aderes. But there's a story with the Tzemach Tzedek that a group of Kantonisten came to him for Shabbos. And they were all beaten up with scars because they wouldn't convert to Christianity. They couldn't read a word. They had no education. And they came to the Tzemach Tzedek for Shabbos. And the Tzemach Tzedek told them a maimah in Yiddish. That everyone has their mission. And the Rebbe then said in the maimah that their Mesiris Nefesh Yidden, and by them Etzem shines. And it's the famous moshel in the maimah, when you have boiling water, you don't put your head, you put your foot, not because you don't care about your foot, but in your foot, because there's less seichel, there's more etzem than the neshama shines, and it has bittul to the neshama.
Right.
This is the maimah that Rebbe Rashab, the Tzemach Tzedek told them. He could have, to tell people, you know, you don't have the light other people have. I don't think it's a service. Everything what people say is true, but when the Tzemach Tzedek picked up the Kantonisten, and he didn't lament with them that they don't read and they didn't have education and they don't know the Gemara. He didn't deal with that, because every person, when you deal with someone, you have to look at his unique situation and focus and magnify the milas. We all have deficiencies. You meet a person. Every human being has deficiencies and has good things. If you focus on the negative, you break the person. If you focus on the positive, you give him strength to continue and you give him tools. That's a healthier attitude.
No, I agree. I agree. And I accept that. My question is how far does this go? How far does this go before? Because it feels like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. It feels like there's a revising of what is good as time. Like I remember when I was a bacher, it was like it can't be longer than 10 years. Okay, it can't be more than 10 years, and then it can't be more than 20 years, and then it can't be more than 30 years, right? And then, of course, as time goes on, okay. So
now it's 31.
Yeah. So okay. So now it can't be more than 40 years. Right. I mean, the Fir Mitzvah Dvarim, from what you're saying, the Svara, it was never mugbal one way or the other. These are all fake limitations in the first place.
It was wishful thinking that it's fine. That's how Hashem wants us to be, in a constant state of awaiting. But to say that, some people said before Gimmel Tammuz, if Mashiach doesn't come now, he'll never come. That's ridiculous.
You didn't subscribe to that back then?
Back then, I liked it. I was hoping Mashiach would come, but I didn't think that was the right way of speaking, because you can't, the Eibishter could do what he wants. You can't say, Eibishter, if you don't do something this way, you can never do it. The Eibishter is not mugbal.
Right.
I believed it. I hoped for it, but I thought it was.
I was learning in a chotzer this morning on the way to California, and the Maimer opens up, and with the Rebbe Shab talking about his stalkos, that a tzaddik is nostalgic after he finishes his avodah in this world. how do you make sense out of Gimmel Tammuz? What's a pshat that the Rebbe finishes Avodah in this world? It wasn't his Avodah to bring Mashiach.
I was there, Chavches Nissen Tavshin and Aleph, when the Rebbe said, Ich hab angetan alles, was ich kann. Jetzt gebe ich sie bezeugt. The famous Sikha.
And the Rebbe said it with some punch.
It was like a goodbye.
That's how you felt.
It was a goodbye, but the Rebbe said, I'm still going to help you and I'm still going to be involved. It was very, very powerful.
You felt like it was a goodbye then?
No. I remember then we were verbringing till 4 or 5 in the morning trying to figure out what does the Rebbe want, what could we do that the Rebbe can't do. And then many people wrote a letter to the Rebbe that they're mekabel the malchus of the Rebbe, Melech HaMoshiach, till Mesiras Nefesh. The Rebbe answered very nicely, Orachti ne'elim shichi aske alatzion. And there was 250 signatures on those letters.
What does that mean?
That I made a candle for my Moshiach.
What's a pshat?
Pshat from the Posuk in Tilim, that David HaMelech prepared a candle for the anointed of Hashem. And I'm not sure. You have to look in the Meforshim on the Posuk.
But what's that have to do with the letter?
No, so we wrote the letter after being up till 4 in the morning.
So you felt that that's what you needed to do?
That's what chassidim felt then. And the Rebbe did not ignore the letter. The Rebbe wrote, Orachti ne'elim shichi. And then people counted the signatures, and there was 250 signatures, the gematria of Ner. Then the Rebbe had the Shabbos after. The Rebbe spoke about learning in Yoni Gula Moshiach and Afsich Zugreten. But how did Gimmel Tammuz happen? I just want to, you remind me a different story. The Rebbe told Yaakov Yehuda Hecht and Tov Lamed Ches after the heart attack, the Rebbe told him to make a Suda Seidah. The Rebbe told him not to tell anybody. And he asked the Rebbe, how did Simchas Torah, the heart attack, happen? So the Rebbe told him to look in Agdomas Hazeh, Daf Yud Gimel, I think it was. That was the answer. And he looked in the Maimer, in the Zeh there, it says that Tzaddik who passed away, and then they realized the world still needs him, so they send him back down. Anyways, who could explain Gimmel Tammuz? The Rebbe in the famous Sikha Purim Tovshim Zayin.
One second. So the Zohar says about a tzaddik that he left.
A tzaddik he left, and then they send him back down to this world. He was a goysus, I guess. He nearly died, and they said his neshama still has what to accomplish. So this is how the Rebbe told Rabbi Hecht.
This is how the Rebbe understood the Shchedesh Kislev.
That's how the Rebbe understood the Shchedesh Kislev. So the Rebbe had to be here, and the Rebbe said in Mem Zayin that he spoke about the Frierdiker Rebbe speaking about Mashiach very strongly, and the Rebbe said, "Weißt du is that they gave it over from the Nossi to Hakel. Hanossi who Hakel. Now the obligation to bring Mashiach is on the Koil." So we have to realize that the Rebbe Chavches Nissen gave it over to us. And we have to, and we're going to do it, us, with our limitations, with whatever we have, we're going to do it. We're going to make it happen. The Rebbe gave us all the tools. The Rebbe gave us everything that we need. Like the Rebbe said about the Frierdiker Rebbe, that als bevorend, and any issue in life, anything, how to go to about life, the Rebbe gave us everything. It's there in the Sichos, it's there in the Maimorim, it's there in the Igris, and we have to look to find it. But the Rebbe gave us the instructions.
But what's Taka the Pshat in this outlook about Lubavitch that you subscribe to, where it's all Bemis is the Baal Shem Tov's teaching. Everything's Bashkacha Pratis. In a way, it's absurd that it should even be a debate. But you are very adamant that we are exactly where we belong and exactly the situation that we belong in. What's a pshat of a Lubavitch that is going into its fourth decade post the Histalkus of the last Rebbe? What's a pshat? What's the understanding of yes, this is what it's meant to be, but how does this fit with the whole idea of Lubavitch having a Rebbe that's at the center of everything? That's because there was always a Rebbe from the beginning, almost. There were some breaks, but there was always a Rebbe, and there's always understood that that's.
If you look by the Rebbe Maharash and the Rebbe Rashab, there was a break of 10 years.
Yeah, Churban Lubavitch was.
Churban Lubavitch.
Yeah.
And you see today, there's no Churban Lubavitch, it's 31 years. And Lubavitch is going strong. Hepech HaTeva. If in 10 years it was Churban Lubavitch, there almost was nothing left. So, halachas kama v'kama now. What's the difference? And the only answer is that here the Rebbe didn't leave us.
I think the Rebbe Maharash left Lubavitch.
There wasn't that not going into Gan Eden until Mashiach comes. There wasn't that strong connection, that amazing connection.
Fine, let's accept that. But what's the pshat of Lubavitch? Lubavitch is meant to be without a Rebbe now. It's meant to be this way. Why was it meant to be?
Why do you think there's such strong reaction when someone says, let's make a new Rebbe? Right?
Well, it's a silly comment. That isn't an option.
I know, I'm saying, but why do you think a guy, I remember someone said it and they threw him out of yeshiva.
Because it's a silly comment.
I'm saying, so, because the Rebbe fehlt noch. And
that's what it is?
That's why there is such a sharp reaction.
That's what it is. There's also nobody. It's a silly comment.
I know it says there's nobody and there's a silly comment. There, Yosem, but that's not the only reason. The reason is because the Rebbe fehlt noch.
But this wasn't in the cards. This wasn't how things were sketched out.
There's a Kabbalah by chassidim that there's going to be a time before Mashiach where chassidim won't have a Rebbe.
Is this Kabbalah real? I heard it.
It's a real Kabbalah, and I'll tell you more.
When did this Kabbalah emerge? After Gimmel Tammuz? You heard about this Kabbalah before Gimmel Tammuz?
I don't remember when I heard it. It's a good question, but let me tell you. The Tzemach Tzedek was going to go to Israel, and they asked him, Avemen, I think the Rebbe said it, Avemen los von Ibr Chassidim, and he said that Sedo sieben Kinder, wie Boy say mit der Achtes von Chassidim wird sie bringen zu Mashiach. So Chassidim said that then there was the Kinder, but there'll be the boys Ema, the Achtes von Chassidim will be before Mashiach. The fact that Chassidim, without a Rebbe, you see people are more nizir in Takon of Rambam, more than the Rebbe was B'chaim Chayusei. There's a bigger koch in Rambam. There's a bigger koch in Sichos. The Bochrim learn more. It's a beautiful day. And this is the preparation for Mashiach, because when there's someone on top of you pulling you, it's not you. When we on our own, without the Giluyim of the Rebbe, Begolui, are connected, that's a deeper connection. That's the whole Nekudah of the last Maimer the Rebbe gave us, Va'atu Tetzav. The Rebbe says that when there's no Giluyim, then you get the etzem, that brings Mashiach and that changes the world. So our generation, the Eli Ezra, they're the ones that have etzem, and Mashiach is etzem. And our generation, by being the way it is, this is the only way we could have Gilui etzem and bring Mashiach. This is how we have to look at it. We have to miss and we have to remember.
Why?
To give us strength to do, but not, and to share with others, to give them inspiration, but not to feel bad not to feel bad. That's who's going to gain from it? Unless it brings you gaguim to the Rebbe, and that motivates you to do, then it's fine.
But it feels like
but just to tell Bochrim, feel bad that you weren't born to see the Rebbe.
As we approach the 2-year mark of this podcast, Homesick for Lubavitch has become a household name in the Lubavitch community, with thousands of views each week on YouTube alone, as well as thousands more on the various podcast platforms. We have a devoted audience that listens regularly to the conversations and shares their thoughts with their families and communities. If you would like to sponsor an episode or advertise on one of our episodes, please reach out to Bensi at yuvlamedia.com. That's Bensi at Yuvla Media, YUVLA media.com. Okay, but it sounds like there's two separate things here. There's a chatchila and there's a b'diavad.
Yeah.
The chatchila is that this is bemis where I belong, and this is where I want to be. B'diavad is we're not going to tell you about the past because it's going to make you sad. But really,
you're going to hear about the past, and you're going to enjoy it, and you're going to wish that you saw it, and you're going to wish to see it again. I mean, the whole avodah Yom Kippur, Ashri ayin ro'as, how lucky is the eye that saw. So there is room for that, and we have to daven. We yearn for the Rebbe constantly, and we have to daven when the Rebbe comes back. And that's important. But together with that, not to let it, not to break you. If it's going to break you, if it's going to make you stronger and have a stronger iskashus to the Rebbe, and that'll help you do your avodas Hashem, it's the best thing. And we daven for Tchiyas HaMeisim, and we want to see the Rebbe back. But we have to do the job. We cannot just feel bad. The people in the second Beis HaMikdash, they didn't have the Geluim in the first Beis HaMikdash. And it says there in the Pasuk that the Skenim said that, they felt bad. The young people were excited, and the Skenim felt bad. This is not what it used to be. But their Aveda was very, very dear l'mayla. The second Beis HaMikdash stood longer than the first Beis HaMikdash. You have to celebrate what you have. And us swimming to the Rebbe, Bekeach Atzmei, has tremendous benefits. Going back to the Tzemach Tzedek, talking to the Kantonistan, he doesn't talk to them. I wish you were in yeshiva, I wish you learned. He strengthened them, Basher Hu. There's room for both. And we don't like this situation. The Golos is very strong, and as much as wonderful, there are good Bochrim. There are Bochrim that are having a very hard time. And it's difficult. And we miss the Rebbe every day. But that shouldn't be the only thing. It's a good thing if it's a motivator. If it's a breaker, then believe, like you said, Nashgoche Pratis. And know how all the datas are waiting for your Avodah B'keach Atzmei. With the inspiration of the Rebbe, all the datas are waiting for you. You are tzahakt and tzezetzt, and there's difficulties, and you spoke about Yeridus Aderes. And together with that, if you stand strong and do what's right, on your shoulders is reliant and dependent for you to bring Mashiach. It's very empowering. You could think, I'm at the bottom, I'm tzahakt, I'm a cripple, I'm barely walking, I can't keep my concentration more than a millisecond. And the chassidim of the Alter Rebbe thought for 10 hours of machshava straight, and they were so amazing. And you go higher and higher, and we know we're at the bottom. But you have to celebrate. There's the famous word from the Baal Shem Tov that Rebbe said over many times. It said, we're coming from Tisha B'Av. It says that the Anvosnusay shel Schaya ben Avkulos destroy the Beis Hamikdash. So the simple pshat is, because he was an Onav and he didn't kill Bar Kamtze, we got the base. Says the Baal Shem Tov, Anvosnusay, the Anivis von Schaya ben Avkulos, the fact that a Jew says, I'm on the bottom of the barrel, and what am I doing, and what's my Aveda worth, that destroys and stops the Beis Hamikdash from being rebuilt. Because you just are focused on the Yeridas HaDeiros. It's a true fact. But that doesn't motivate you to learn and daven. Then it's just a good, Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av is once a year, not a whole year. Because most of the time you have to be focused on the Aveda at hand, that God chose your neshama, it's by a very high neshama, to come down in the craziest generation, in the WhatsApp generation, in the social media generation, in the anxiety generation. But he chose you and you could do it. And that should be a focus. I mean, to say that the negativity doesn't exist is being denying. It does exist. And it's very difficult for Bochren today. And it never was like it is today. The Machlas HaNefesh. I remember that Rebbe Tovshim Memches spoke that there's a Kinus HaRabbonim, and the Rebbe said they should speak at the Kinus HaRabbonim about Machlas HaNefesh, and the Rebbe said, was mishum ma, it's rampant. So there's a lot of new shilas. If the Rebbe said that in Tovshim Memches, in 2025, it wasn't this Rebbe, it was, it's very strong. Every fourth person suffers from it.
What do you mean by Machlas HaNefesh?
Machlas HaNefesh means illness of the soul, mental illness.
So you're referring to generally?
Generally, yeah, I'm not a... So there is big nisyenis today with everything going on. But you have God chose you with your neshama. Could be the other generations, they would come down to our generations, they would be lost. Right. And we have the ability to still stand strong, and we're going to bring Mashiach. They say, before Mashiach, there's going to be winds, and it's going to be so tough to hold on. That's the winds. There is big winds today. I didn't focus on that before, but there is big winds. And you were chosen, and you're able to pierce a hole in those wings, in those winds. So you should focus on that. You have to know your Yeridas HaDeiros and how little you are compared to the previous generations. But focus on the fact that God chose you and He gave you the strength.
Yeah, we were learning in shul the other day a mimer in the Quartet. A mimer in the Quartet from Parshat Dvarim. It's a famous mimer. And over there, the Alter Rebbe connects, at least the way I understood it, he connects. V'derech klal, we touch up that v'aftas Hashem l'kecho chol v'chol nafshecho v'chol meidecha. Right, there's the Ava, and then Vayud Dvar Melech Sharneichu Mitzav Chayim is like the Keli. Right, you have to bring down the Ava into Kelim. That's how Chassidus teaches it very often. In this mimer, it's fakert, at least the way I understood it, that the Ava v'chol nafshecha is mevusas on the fact that you have the ability to, with a mitzvah or with learning Torah, to connect Hayyim. Because of the Ein Sof in a mitzvah, when you have it in front of you, nothing else matters. There's no agbalas. There's no agbalas of what time and place you're in. It's Hayyim. Hayyim is everything. There's not. It dominates the moment. It creates a moment. It shapes a moment. And so, a person can ask, how does one have ava to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? How does one even dare to connect? How can one love the Eibishter if the Eibishter is so far away? And the answer is because it's right here in your hand. It's Hayyim. It's not the Hayom is a keli to the Avid. The Hayom is what allows the Avid to happen in the first place. Right? There's the recognition that the Eibishter is here right now in this moment. Right? And that flips the equation. That flips the equation. And so there is something about the fact that agency, it's not that the feeling brings the agency brings the feeling. It's not that the connection brings the agency. The fact that you have agency is what allows you to have a connection. Right? The fact that you have an ability today, the fact that you realize that the present is important, allows you to connect. Because if you're not empowered right now, if you are rendered second, if you're rendered secondary to the past is better, then what connection do you have? Connection's impossible. Right? How can you connect if you're completely out of the picture?
There's a story that I heard from Rabbi Ezra Shochat.
The Rosh.
Well, I learned by him 2 years. Very special man. So he told us a beautiful story that relates to what we're talking about. He wrote a letter to the Rebbe, 14 years old, that he feels bad. He's learning, but he sees the Sheikh Schmeitzer wrote what he wrote when he was 12 years old. And Rabbi Kiva Eger.
Yeah, it's a famous story.
And where is it? A famous story. Yeridus Aderis, he was saying. And the Rebbe says, where is it in Judaism that you have to want to be something? You are chosen for the Eibishter alone. Chose your neshama to be in this generation. Gives you tremendous keiches to be able to do what you do, even though it's much less, but he gives you the keiches. And that's what a Jew has to focus on. That's what a chassid has to focus on. Again, I can't negate what you were saying, that there is a tremendous longing.
No, I'm not pushing that.
No,
I want to tease out how far this goes. Is all I'm saying. Believe me, I'm not Mr. Nostalgia. I'm not trying to hold on to the past. But like Tani says at the beginning, right? That right? That if you there's always this problem where if you get too caught up in the negativity, you become depressed. But if you dismiss the negativity, you dismiss the reasons for negativity, you end up in Kalas Reish, right? That there's always this problem of you can't go too far in either direction, right? So if you get too sunken into nostalgia and to feeling bitter about which time and place you live in, then you're going to be very negative. But if you say, it's all good, it's amazing, it begins to feel a little bit disconnected from reality. Because there's no question that before these things happened, before Gimmel Tammuz happened, people said that there cannot be a Lubavitch without a Rebbe, there cannot be this matzav, therefore Mashiach must come, right? People said that. People believed that. And then we just changed it on a dime, and now we say, this is how it was meant to be. And then after 10 years, we say, oh yeah, it's meant to be longer. So you can't just mach up that, it's no big deal, this is how everything was always meant. That was my point.
Yeah,
but I'm not
I agree with your point, 100%. And we don't want this to continue. And there's so much suffering, ruchnistic suffering, gashmistic suffering, confusion. It's very, very difficult. And we have to do whatever we can to end it.
Right.
And we have the power to do it.
Yeah, so I think...
And we're in doubt. Again, like everything in Judaism, there's a healthy balance. But there's a danger to go either way alone. If you go it's all good, it's all amazing, you just don't care, you don't care about nothing. But if you go too much to nostalgia, it could also be yochel the atzvos. It's has to be a healthy medium.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think the key is the key is agency. I think the key is agency. If you feel that right now you have full agency, right? The Alter Rebbe says in that mimer that the point is that chol yom kechadashim mamish, that this moment, today is the day. There is no other day. And if a person feels that way, then that reframes everything, beginning from it, including the ava, including the connection, because I have a part in this. I'm a stakeholder. I matter, and if I matter, and if I have ability, and then I can connect. Connection means something, but if I don't matter, then connection means nothing.
If you don't matter,
What's
and
the point?
You say, I wasn't born the right generation. Where was I? I missed a bolt, and yeah. So then you don't. That's the anvas nusev v'schayim and afkulas.
What's the point then? Yeah, exactly.
What am I doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you have this thing that, if I was sitting with chassidim fabrein Gimmel Tammuz. People are crying and they miss the Rebbe.
On the day of Gimmel Tammuz?
No, one of the Gimmel Tammuz is at the oil. No, it wasn't the day of. Years after. And it's wonderful. And there's a hole in their heart, and they wrote the Rebbe shlichus down, and they're crying. It's unbelievable. But it doesn't give strength to the future generation.
What about for you?
I argue that the Rebbe is becoming stronger and frischer and starker.
For you also?
For us also, just by seeing what the Rebbe is accomplishing in the world. Lubavitch became mainstream. There was this mom and pop shop organization, and they're becoming stronger. And the world wants to hear what Lubavitch has to say. It's unbelievable, the growth in not only in numbers of shluchim, but in the impact and influence. And the world in Eretz Yisrael sees the Rebbe clearer than ever now. There's a lot happening in the world. The world sees the wisdom of the Rebbe like never before. Years ago, the Rebbe spoke, and people said the Rebbe doesn't know exactly. There could be peace, and there could be this, and there could be that. But today, the world sees it clear. There's Gilei Elikus now, what's happening. And you have to focus on that good. We have people here walking after October 7th. And the mayor here was a Jewish mayor. He made a proclamation for a ceasefire. So a lady walked in. She was so devastated. She was not much to do with Yiddishkeit, but that touched her core. And she found a book that Elisha wrote, the Rebbe's. And she read the book from cover to cover. And she's all excited about the Rebbe's wisdom and the Rebbe's understanding. We live in very special times. And the world is more and more understanding the Rebbe, appreciating the Rebbe, relating to the Rebbe, and seeing the Rebbe's godless that wasn't there before Gimmel Tammuz.
How much of this outlook do you feel comes from the fact that you still spend hours a day learning?
It helps a lot, Learning helps your equilibrium, and it helps any fights between people. It comes of a lack of emunah, because you don't believe and you don't feel it. The more a person learns, the more he has that spiritual feeling. And that mimer that you mentioned, look at the Torah last week, that if you learn Torah, you're makiris mishomer v'hoya elom. You have an understanding in Hashem, and you have a feeling. So it definitely helps. If you're empty, then you're just oiveying. But if you're full with the Rebbe's Torah and with learning, it gives you it refines you. It has that property.
Do you ever find yourself torn between shlichus and learning? Is it ever a stira?
I'll tell you, my first years I was running around a lot. I didn't study. A lot. Not a bare minimum. And those years I was doing a lot, Baruch Hashem. But that's when I build up a debt, misedaf to sein. And now that I learn more, there's more funds coming in, more bali tshuva, more of everything. Because the Rebbe wants a shliach to learn. There's a beautiful yechidus I have from the Rebbe on my desk telling and asking, how could you be my shliach if you don't have kvi sitim latera? So the Rebbe wants shluchim to learn. And it picks up the shliach, otherwise you don't have the gas, your car falls apart. You don't have the strength and the stamina.
So that's why you started learning? I mean, that's why you started learning on shlichus?
No, I'm saying, I started learning on shlichus, and it changed my shlichus. I have an interesting story. I was sitting in my house, and your uncle, Levi Zirkin from Fresno came, he was here, and he tells me, Mendy, let's start learning Dayonis. So I told him, Rabbi Levi, with all the respect, I'm a shliach, I don't have a community here to become a dayan for, and I'm putting on tefillin with people doing miftzayim. You know, I learned that at Basichas, but what do I have to do with Dayonis? After he left, he went back to Fresno. I opened the Sikha. And the Sikha was Pasha B'Shalach. And the Rebbe says, if you hear, he speaks about the 4 groups. He says, if you hear a new oifen in Avodah, and you think it has no connection to you, it's a siman that that's what you have to do. So I called him back. I said, Rabbi Levi, let's start. And we started, and the rest is history. So I learned by Rabbi Ullman. God should bless him. We had shorted for many years. We got it, the Dayonis, and we would learn. I guess that's the shlichus.
So that's how it started?
That's how the Rabbonis, the Dayonis part started. And in general, it's what gives you sanity and clarity. Without it, you can easily get lost. And a lot of people say there's no time in the day. There's so much time. The WhatsApps. Get off a little the WhatsApps. And there's a lot of time, and it helps. That's what the Rebbe wanted. A shliach should come to the city and learn over there.
That's what he wanted.
And do miftzayim and be a dugma chaya. The Rebbe writes in Sefer HaShlichus.
It's amazing. The Rebbe spent how many hours a day learning?
The Rebbe told Ira Weiss, his Seder Hayom. And Ira Weiss said...
Ira Weiss was Rebbe's doctor by the heart attack.
Yeah, Chicago. He says he can't say the Rebbe's schedule, but most of the day the Rebbe sits and learns. And there was a guy, Professor Bin Nun, wrote a book about the Rebbe. And he didn't write in the book about the Rebbe learning. So Rabbi Mendel Cohen told him he should write that Rebbe sits and learns. So the professor told Rabbi Mendel, this everybody knows. So Rabbi Mendel says, this not everybody knows. But the Rebbe sat and learned. And it helps. It's not that if you don't, you do more and you're happier and you're focused and it's... When you learn, you have to forget about yourself and try to understand what you're learning. So it automatically picks you up and you connect the Eibishter, and that gives you koyach. Bekashmis and beruchnis.
Yeah.
I guess you need a healthy balance. Like we're speaking this whole night.
Yes.
You need a healthy balance.
Yeah. No, I think.
But if you go either way, then you can't do one without the other.
Well, Torah we say is l'mayla min hazman, right? And by that we mean that Torah picks someone up. Torah picks someone up from a sense of being constrained by the time that he finds himself in. I'm in the wrong time. And he puts him in a place where, in a way, he's in control of time, where where what he's learning is not bound by time, right? And so, when you're talking about an idea that when you're talking about an idea that you're not defined by the time you live in, and that this is the best time to be, and this is the time where you belong, that is a direct continuation of the idea of learning Torah in the first place.
Yes. Well put.
Right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to me like there's any other way to come to that idea in a healthy way. I don't know if I agree that the word is balance, because I don't think you can balance these two ideas of, if you're talking about yearning for a time that's bygone and also feeling like this is the right perfect time. I don't think those two can be balanced. They're opposites in many ways.
There's room for both. I'm saying
right.
There is times, there's Tisha B'Av, there's times, but as a general rule, you have to know that you have the special mission and you could do it.
But I think the Indian, they're a stira.
They are a stira.
So the
Judaism in general is a stira. You have rotzu v'shuv, right?
Right. No, but I think
the Rabbi once tried to explain to Bochum what's rotzu and shuv. He said, if a shliach comes to a city and he has a tremendous rotzu to the Rebbe, he's not going to affect the city. But if he has a shuv and he doesn't have a rotzu, so he becomes like everybody else. He doesn't affect the city. Judaism, that's why Jews are a little schizophrenic. They have a rotzu and a shuv, and that's the only way they exist in this world. You have the Bal Korcha Chatachai, Bal Korcha Chatomeis. From one hand, you don't want this physical world. From the other hand, you realize how important the mitzvah is. It's a world of opposites. But with everything said, I think it's more important to focus on emotions that drive you to do and see how great you are and you can accomplish the world. When you speak to these Kantonisten and you tell them what their Mesidus Nefesh, there's nothing like them. It's like the Beis Yosef, right? The famous story that Rebbe said that his Malach told him, if he was Zoichel, die al Kiddush Hashem. So Kiddush Hashem is greater than writing the Shulchan Aruch that Klal Yisrael follows till Mashiach. So when you're talking to the Beis Yosef, his mission, he has to be focused on writing the Shulchan Aruch. But when you're talking to some Kiddush Hashem, you focus on his great shlichus. Other people say, Kina Sofrim Tar B'Chochma, right?
Right.
There's the famous line, don't try to be someone else, it's taken. Kina Sofrim Tar B'Chochma, people think I have to try to be like them. No. Kina Seifrim Tar B'Chochma means try to be the best you.
Right.
If you're the best you, it makes you be a better you. It's a mistake people have.
Right.
Kina Sofrim means that you have to want to excel in your unique shlichus,
right,
and your unique purpose in life.
Right.
It's my father, Olav Shalom, excelled in this, in not looking out of his lane.
What did your father do?
My father was a professor in the university. The Rebbe, he was in Tofshin. The Rebbe was Tofshin Chav Gimmel or Chav Daled. The Rebbe was talking about Avuch b'may havazoy tfei. Everyone has a special mitzvah. So his father wasn't from. So he went to the Rebbe and he asked the Rebbe, "What's my mission? What's my avuch b'may havazoy tfei?"
He was a bocher in 770.
A bocher, yeah. No. He must have been a bocher. He got married in Chav Ches. So the Rebbe told him, "Dein inyan is lernen Chassidus mit Sfardische Jiden. Weil sie haben Emunas Tzadik.
He follows the Svardisha?
Yeah, fast von Tunis. And the Rebbe laughed. You won't, was nicht ahnen, aber bis man wird reinkommen ein Ashkenazische Jid. He was from the Sfardim, and the Rebbe knew we were created in different ways because to help us for our mission. Everything leads up to that.
That's why you're so positive.
Why? Because I'm a Sfardi. Yeah. Okay, good. And he stuck to that. He stuck to that, to giving shiurim, and the Rebbe told him to go to college, and the Rebbe told him what university to be a professor in, and that's all he did to the last minute. We each have unique missions, and to look at other people's mission and say, I wish I had that, that's like Kina Sefer Tarbe Chochma, to try to be like them.
Right.
Everyone has a unique mission. It says, Tanya Ishke Fisherish Nishmose, and everyone has...
It says that there's a difference between Gashmias and Ruchnias, right?
Yeah.
That in Gashmias, Kina is a damaging thing because, in a certain sense,
You have to be Sameach B'chelke.
you're Sameach B'chelke, and you wanting, all you want is that person's money, and there is in a sense there's no real way for you to want what they have in a productive. There's something more zero sum about it. Where what you want is at their expense. What you want is to be like them. There isn't that. What I think the reason is because in Ruchnias, there's like you're saying, each person has a way to flourish, a way to express what they need to do. Whereas in Gashmias, you don't have that richness and that variety of possibilities. I mean, you have different ways to make money, but ultimately, making money is making money. Money is money, and so the fact that you want what that other person has, it's not to do it on your terms. It's just to do it on the same terms. And in that case, you have to be Sameach B'chelke. Whereas Baruchni is, what you want, what the other person has is B'chal not shaykh to you. You can't have what they have. You have to focus on what you have. That's the only thing that's available to you. And it's different. It's taka different. So there is a difference there. There's a difference there. Okay, it's look. I think ultimately what it comes down to is that there has been, and I think there is still to an extent, a large crisis of confidence. People today, where do they fit into the Lubavitch story? Beyond just remembering what happened in the past, or beyond just repeating what was done in the past. There is a sense that like the year of Toshin Pehei is a year that is a Yosem Dika year. It's not the way it's supposed to be. And to accept 100% that it is the way it's supposed to be runs a risk of kalos. But to not accept that this is exactly where you need to be runs the opposite risk. And so there is a crisis of confidence, and there needs to be a way, and you're articulating a way tonight of making sure that this is like you talk about the Kantonistim. There has to be a push. There has to be an emphasis on the maila of the present, the maila of what there is today. Not just because people are holding on to what was in the past, but because there's something special that's happening right now. There has to be. Because people are only going to connect. People are only going to really connect, not in a fake way or in a gemachte way, People are only going to connect if they feel like they have a stake, like they have ownership in what's going on. They have agency, that they actually can make a difference. They actually matter, and if they can feel that way. Then, if they know that, then there's a chance for them to connect and for them to feel part of it.
Absolutely.
All right.
Chaim, it's by you 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's been a nice verbringing with you.
Gewaldig.
You do great work.
Thank you very
And let's
much.
strengthen each other. And together, we'll mit der Reusquetsche Mashiach, l'chaim, l'chaim.
Amen. L'chaim. The music for this podcast comes from the album Repentance Doors by Oren Tzor Nadav Vachar and is used with their permission.